we are going to be talking, of course, to all the very talented artists in the fame game. Starting with the woman who you can only call the Queen of Hearts, right? Yeah, and the Queen of Hearts for how many years? So please give it up for Madhuri Dixit Nene.
Hi, hello.
Okay, first of all, how smashing is she looking?
Thank you.
You know, can I just tell you how wonderful it is to have you on screen again as an actor?
Oh, thank you.
You know, and Madhuri, as I was watching the Fame Game, I was really thinking of how it's a hall of mirrors.
Yes.
Right? Because she's playing Anamika Anand, who is a Bollywood superstar, and of course she is a Bollywood superstar. And I was wondering as I saw this, that do you find it easier or do you find it harder when a character and her circumstances are so close to yours, but of course they're not yours?
Yeah.
Anamika's experiences are fiction.
Yes.
So what was it like?
I don't know if it's harder or easier. I think any character, when you start to, imagine her and start to play her, you're always thinking of the intricacies, that all the thoughts that are going on in her mind, what she's feeling. And she's a star. Yes, I'm a star in my life, but that's the only similarity we have, in common. And the way she has led her life is very different from mine. So I have to get into a different psyche, I have to imagine myself, if I was forced to do something that I didn't want to do, and you are there, and you are, a daughter, a wife, you have 2 kids, so you're a mother, and you're trying to keep everything together, and it's so hard for you to do that. And somewhere you feel that you're not getting from life what you wanted, and you're feeling suffocated, because somewhere you know that you don't know what you want from your life,
Mm.
And I thought that's so layered for her, because even when I say, oh, I'm so blessed, I actually mean it, But when she's saying it, it has different connotations. She's saying one thing, but she's feeling something else. And I thought those layers were beautiful.
But did you Madhuri, add, because this is a life this is a world
Yes,
maybe
yes.
not a life but
I
a
mean,
world
I've walked in this world. Yes.
You walked in this world,
Yes.
right? So would you, as they were writing, would you give suggestions? Would you say, like, it's not like that, it works like this?
Not as they wrote, because they're already written the script when they came to me.
Huh.
But while shooting, yes, we did make some adjustments here and there. While we were reading, we made some adjustments about, because when she's a mother, she cannot really be so distant a mother. It's not possible. She's a mother. And yet there has to be, she's all warm, she loves her children, she loves her daughter, but yet there's this something that holds her back always, and that's the fame of it, and the threat, the insecurities she feels about herself. And so those have to play out. But sometimes when it was initially written, it was too distant. So I thought it cannot be that. It has to be, warm. So these are the minor adjustments.
Moms don't work like that.
Yeah, they don't work like that.
Tell me, you talked about getting into her psyche. So, Madhuri, now, when you create a character, when you build a character, is your process very different from what it was when you began, or are the basic actorly beats still the same?
Well, when you begin, there's so much enthusiasm in you. You want to prove every time you're in front of the camera. It's like you have to prove that you're good, and and this is, oh my God, I love the scene, and I'm going to do this like this, and there's so many ideas in your head. And I think as you play different characters, as you mature, as you grow, you start thinking of not just the impression of what you're going to do, but also, absorbing everything. So when you start, you're giving off energy, always giving off energy. And there comes a time when you start absorbing energy from everyone around you, and then creating your own energy. So I think that is the difference of when you're just new, and then when you are there for a long time and you are, still honing your art.
But tell me, when you've been an actor for as many years as you have, is there ever a danger of falling back on tried and tested expressions? Do you catch yourself, like as a film critic, right? I find, and people point this out to me, how often are you going to say convoluted? Can you find another word? So I take this very seriously and I'm like, oh God, yes, I'm just repeating myself. Is there that fear for you ever?
Well, it depends. Like if I say spontaneously something, say if I'm surprised, my surprise will be like, or surprise. So sometimes you catch yourself doing the same thing, like उसने कुछ कहा, and you're like, and you go, and you say, no, I want to do something different now. I don't want to give that surprise. But of course, when you're playing varied characters and you're playing different characters, then you can think of different way of, doing the same thing.
The stories
also for people who are watching you for a long time.
Yeah.
Say if the first movie is great, the second, third, fourth, by fifth, they kind of know your, your expressions. They know what you do when and all. And so when you want to do something really different, then you really have to think hard and say, okay, I had done this before, but now I think because this character has these things in a mind, so I will be doing this, So you start, thinking around.
But are there instances, because you're now working with filmmakers who have less experience than you, right? So are there instances where they're happy with the shot, but you're like, no, I can do better than this?
Yeah, it happens. It happens sometimes. But it happens with directors you worked with also, or directors who have been working for a long time, and you say, can I just do one more because I think I can do better? Sometimes it turns out better. Sometimes it's like, no, let's go back to what we had done before. So it's in that moment and at that time. It doesn't matter how experienced the director is or how experienced you are, but it's in that moment that you feel maybe I can do better, but what you thought was better was not really better.
Right.
Or sometimes maybe I did well, but the directors say, can we just do one more? Can you just tweak that a little bit? And you do that and you say, hey, this is looking better than that.
Yeah.
So it works both ways. But
we are
always trying to do something better out of the box and,
But do they get nervous of asking you for another take?
I don't know. You'll have to ask them. You'll have to ask them.
When you become sort of iconic, right? It must be, no? People must be like, damn, she's Madhuri Dixit. How do I tell her I want another take?
Well, that's what happens, because when I'm giving a shot and it's like the first take and I did something and say, हाँ मैं जा रही हूँ. Very good. I'm like, are you sure it was very good? Are you sure you're just saying it because I'm in front of the camera? And, sometimes I get into that with the director that, are you sure it's good, or are you just saying it because, you think I'm Madhuri Dixit, how can we ask for another take?
Correct.
And so I have to make sure that, it's all okay. But I think none of the directors today will just say okay for the heck of it, because they're so studied. They have worked on that script for so many years and they have been honing it and they want to do it in the best possible way. And I don't think anybody's like, maybe your first few days, like a little overawed, but after that, I think we go with the characters, we go with our co-stars and what's happening and the character arc and, all that. So everything else is forgotten then.
Coming back to the fame game, what was interesting for me was how it really kind of talks about some very harsh truths that exist in the film industry, right? So there's this one scene in which Sanjay Kapoor, who's playing her husband, says that इस industry का कुछ नहीं होगा, and he says कि हीरो एक टांग कवर में लटकाए बैठे हैं, लेकिन रोमांस करेंगे अपनी बेटी की उम्र की लड़की के साथ. Okay, Now we know this is true, right? We see it. We know this is true, and it's something, Madhuri, that gives me. It just makes me mad. Okay, I'll just be honest about it. It just makes me mad. I'm just like, really, like 30 years ka difference, 25 years ka difference. Really, how do you process it?
Well, I don't get mad at it. It's like, it's commercial film and they have to think about the box office. They have to think about commercials. They have to earn their money back. And everything is about youth today. And everybody talks about being young, being youthful. We want the youth to come in. We want the youngsters to see it. So they want some youngsters in the movie, even if the plot is different, and then they add the youngster in it so that you attract the young audience. And so I guess it's all commercial, and I don't get really flabbergasted or disturbed about it. It's okay, but then I see today, and this was true 5 years ago, but now content is changing, and I think OTT has brought with it this sensibilities where the woman is playing a character. She's not just a lover, or she's not just an avenging angel, or she's not just a victim. She's playing different roles. You have films made on mathematicians who were women. There's a film made on sports women. There is a film made on the women who helped to put the Mangalan in orbit and stuff like that. So I think it's going in the right direction. There'll always be some things you have to live with for some time, but the changes will come, but they come slowly, one step at a time, but they will. I mean, I'm forever a very positive person.
Yeah.
And I always look in the future and I say, yeah, I think this is going to happen.
But you brought up OTT, and I think that's where you're really getting women to, they're building narratives around women in the way that narratives are built around men in mainstream Hindi cinema.
Yes.
And it's such an exciting space, right? Look,
absolutely.
Look what Sushmita's done with Arya. Or
absolutely.
So many other women are just doing such great work. Tell me about what it's like being in that space. Is it like thrilling? Is a part of you still missing the box office? What is it like?
No, it's thrilling. For me, when I did my films also, of course, if something works at the box office, you're always happy about it. But for me, the art, is very important. The craft, when I'm in front of the camera, what I do with my roles, all that is very important to me. So when I see OTT and I see the kind of series being made on it, it's amazing, like The Crown, or you see The Queen's Gambit, or you see, like you said, Arya, or you see Aryanak, or you see any of the decoupled. There's so many different subjects being handled, and women in pivotal roles, and who are doing so well. So it's always great to see that. And the same thing is with Fame Game, because it's about this actor who's so popular. She's a big star, and seemingly her life is perfect and everything is going fine, and one day she just disappears, and everybody is like, where is she? What happened? And how is she? And slowly it all boils down to, who is she?
Right.
Who is Anamika Anand?
Yeah.
And so the whole mystery, the way they've created everything, and but at the crux of it all is not just a mystery or a thriller, but also the family, the dynamics in the house, her relationship with everyone. So I think that's how I see OTT platform as being built, like you said, with roles which center around women. Women are like kicking ass and doing all that. It's amazing to see that they have taken center stage, and series have been made around them.
Yeah. I was looking at your IMDb page, and you have 88 credits as an actor, right? And I was thinking, over these years, you worked with such amazing filmmakers. So, Madhuri, can you talk about 1, 2, 3? Any more, a number, but filmmakers who really changed your craft for you. Filmmakers who taught you something about acting that you've used ever since you worked with them.
You'll think it's a very cliche line, but every director I've worked with, I've learned something. When I started with Rajshree's Hiren Nag, he was my first director. And
this is Abodh,
my first film.
Right.
And he's the one who taught me how to, face the camera. Because I didn't know. The camera's here. I used to look here. I used to say my dialogue there. So I had never worked with a camera ever before. So he's the one who actually, taught me that this is the camera. He's like your friend. When you're talking to it, talk to it, like he's your friend and you're telling them something. And, he used to do that because I was a little kid at that time. And so he was my first director. And then as I learned, like with N. Chandra, those very explosive scenes that I did with my father, the whole relationship, I used to find it very hard. I said, he's my father, how can I shout at him? And he's like, no, but this is what he's done to you.
This isn't Tezab, guys.
Tezab.
And he wasn't a very good father.
Yeah, I was his golden goose and he was just using me to get money and stuff like that. And so I used to find those scenes very hard to do, the language and everything, the way I spoke. Because we come from a family where, you know, we are perfectly respectful to everyone. So, you know, that and when I did Pukar, I learned a lot from Rajkumar Santoshi, Lajja, when I did Lajja with him. Of course, Indu Irani, how can you forget that? 3 wonderful films I did with him. You know, I'm a very quiet person in real life. I seldom get angry. When I do, then you have to be out of my way. Like, it's like, get out.
Are you a screamer?
No, I am like a fury. Like, I'm furious when I get angry. So, it's not just anger, it's like fury like that. That. You should see with my children, you know, sometimes me with me. So anyways, so that, but I used to be a little hesitant in front of the camera to let go. It was very hhard for me. And it's Induji who brought out that, you know, the tigress, like they say. Like I remember I was doing the scene in Beta, where I have this sickle in my hand, koita kehte hain Hindi mein. So, and I'm saying, hey, Hariya, chal idhar aa, you know, all that. So I was finding it very hard to do that. I said, oh my God, I have to do this in front of so many people, and they're all staring at me like that. You know, all the junior artists in like a semicircle around me, and they were like looking at me, and I said, how do I let go? And he's like, Madhuri ji, let go. And finally, he made me so mad by saying, let go, that it just came out. And sometimes these are, you know, the points in your life when you realize, oh my God, you know, I just touched that nerve.
Yeah.
And then I can evoke it any time that I want after that in front of the camera. So from him, I learned a lot. Subhashji, you know, the grace.
Yeah.
The classical grace. When I did O Ramji Bada Dukh Dina, he used to literally
show
me how to. Yeah, I'm a classical dancer. I know all that, but it's different when you're in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So that, then Prakash Jha, because I did Mrityu Dand with him. A very different kind of a movie for the commercial setup I used to work in. A very subdued, a very fuming kind of, not fury, but just fuming from inside, that kind of role. Bhansali, you know, Sanjay Bhansali, so beautifully he shot everything. And when we did Kahe Ched Ched Mohe, Maharajji, Sarojji, my God, I have a lot of gurus and I've learned so much from everyone.
You know,
really.
You said that Sarojji was the one who taught you how to romance the camera.
Yeah, the Bollywood style.
What is that, Madhuri? How do you romance a camera?
Well, the thing is, it's not romancing it's like my first director said, the camera is your friend. And whenever you're in front of the camera, think that he's your friend and you are telling him everything, your deepest secrets, what you have in your heart and with your eyes, and you're telling. So I think with Sarojji, that was more enhanced because, of course, it's abhinay when you dance.
Yeah.
And the way you look at the camera, whether when I look at it this way, it's a different thing. When I look at it this way, it's different. When I look down and I look up it's a different thing. You know? So how to play with your eyes, how to face the camera. I mean, these are the things that I've learned with everyone I worked with. You know, different aspects of acting.
You know, you talked about Abodh, which released, guys, in 1984, right? So you've been an actor for 38 years.
Wow. Thank you. I cannot believe it.
No, it's just fantastic. And the truth is, I don't think that you can have that longevity purely on talent. There has to be the discipline of a warrior.
Yeah, I do.
Hannah?
I do. I'm a very disciplined person. If it's a time, it's time. You have to go there at this time. I'm there at that time. Also, I'm very disciplined when I'm working, and that discipline goes out. And it's not arrogance or anything. I'm the least arrogant person. When I'm in an ensemble kind of setup, like I'm in the Fame game, I like to make people comfortable around me. I don't want to show my starriness, or first of all, I don't believe that. But unless I don't break that ice with the people who are the actors who are my kids, if they feel awed by me or something, it'll show in their performances.
Yeah.
So I always ease the tensions, and I want want to be on, one-to-one level with them. And so that's my contribution, to everyone around me, to make them feel comfortable, to make them feel at ease, so that we can do all the scenes properly. And as an actor, I do that always. Of course, the discipline is there, and I'm always like there on the set, always present and always in the moment.
Yeah. No, just the work ethic. I remember Sarojji saying in an interview that for Ek Do Teen, which was the breakout song in Tezab, you rehearsed for like 11 days. Then she said to you that you're done, and please now I'll rehearse with the background dancers. And you said no. You said, "Main kone mein dance karti rahungi. Aap mujhe mat dekhna." Was that always in place?
Yeah, I mean, that is who I was. I had to do everything to perfection. I should feel that I'm perfect, then I'm fine in front of the camera. I remember Shilpa had told me once that Shilpa Shirodkar, who was in Mrityudand, that Prakash Jha had just, he came in with something that what's called origami, and he had made a little bird, and I said, like, wow, that's so pretty. How did you make it? So I said, this is how you make it. And he showed it to us, and he left. He gave us 2 papers. Okay, you make it. So then we started making. Halfway through, Shilpa lost interest. So she said, I'm not going to make this. She just threw it away. I just couldn't give up. I'm like, no, I have to know how this was made. And by the end of it, I knew how to make it. And she's like, oh my God, you didn't let go of that. I said, no, I have to know. And so that's the way I am. I just keep going at it till I get it right.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
No, thank you.
Okay, one last question, and we will call your wonderful co-stars on stage. But you've talked a lot about how dance is something that you see everywhere. You said that it is a part of who you are, and of course, so much of what we love about you is the incredible dancing that you have done on screen. But tell me, Madhuri, I mean, we just saw a little bit of it when you did the Abhinay, but how does being a fantastic dancer make you a better actor?
I don't know. I think it's the body language, the grace that comes with learning to dance, and the Abhinay, because Abhinay is acting, Abhinay is expressions, so the expressions, how to use your eyes, it's very important, because eyes are the windows to your soul. I really believe that.
Yeah.
And so when you're feeling something, the eyes have to show what you're feeling, And so it helps you with that. It helps you with your body language. It helps you to be graceful in front of the camera, and not just in front of the camera, but also otherwise in life. So that's how I see dance, and how it transcends and comes into your acting as well.
Do you dance every day? Do you do Riyaz?
Well, I try to do Riyaz whenever I have time. Right now we are so involved in the promotion that sometimes you don't get time. But whenever I do dance, and I do my Kathak Riyaz, and I try to do that.
There are lovely videos of you dancing and your son playing the tabla.
Yes.
It's so wonderful, it's just so nice that they're part of your artistry.
Yeah, they are. And my kids are good musicians, my older one especially. He loves music, he produces music, and he plays the tabla, he plays the piano, the guitar, so he is someone who's naturally, gifted. The younger one too, but he's more of a science guy, but he still plays piano and tabla. I like music and I like dance in life. I think everybody should have something of the art, whether it's painting, whether it's music, because art is very important, not only for physically, but also for your mind. It's a great teacher. It makes you think, it makes you do something, and just the creativity, is great for you.
I remember you told me that when you first met your husband, he hadn't seen many of your films.
No, yeah.
He had no idea how big a star you were. He probably has it now.
Oh yeah. He better be, because we've lived here for 10 years. Now he should know, right? Yeah, of course. But, he's always supported me. He's always been so encouraging, and he's always like, yeah, go do it. You can do it. Why not? And he will never say, don't do this, don't do that. In fact, he's always saying, do this, do that. Why don't you try this? So it's wonderful to have someone so supportive. Even my mom or my mother-in-law, my in-laws, they all support me. And that's why I'm able to do what I do.
Yeah.
Even my kids, like, they're like, your mom, maybe you should go and do this. You were cool in that song.
That's the highest compliment.
Yeah, exactly. When you're cool, you're a cool mom. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's what you want to be, like a cool mom.
I remember being on a set. Rajkumar, Pankaj Parashar's Rajkumar, it was you, me and your mom. I remember,
Yep.
I have such a clear memory of
Yes,
this. She was right there supporting you from the beginning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Always there. Always there. Even now, she'll be like, what were you shooting for? I said, are you doing a song? I said, no, I'm not doing a song. We're doing some scenes. So she's still inquiring. She's 89, but she still wants to know what I'm doing, where I am, what did I... Yeah, so it's lovely. It's lovely to have that.
Well, listen, I'm going to call out. I hear frantic up and down piche. We're good? Okay, and I can't see anything. But folks, put your hands together for Sanjay Kapoor, Manav Kaul, Lakshvir, Saran and Muskkaan Jaferi. So, Sanjay, I'm going to start with you. Okay, I think your career is really a testament to the mysteries of showbiz, right? You're doing such interesting, such varied work now, and you're doing web series, you're doing feature films, you're doing short films. Matlab, you're everywhere, right? And I look at you and I feel like he's really having a good time.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yes, I'm really having a great time, and you can see it on my face that I'm having a great time.
But Sanjay, I want to know, and this is amazing to me, how you just hung in there. How did you do it? How did you keep the faith?
Well, I saw my glasses always half full rather than half empty. And, when I started off, I had success. When things didn't go well, I always still had a smile on my face. I always knew this career is what I've chosen is a tough line. And so I was ready to face that. And I just kept on working hard. There was a gap where you didn't see me on screen. It's not because I was not offered films, but what I was getting, the offers were not interesting enough. When I did get something interesting like a Luck by Chance, which was a ensemble cast, I grabbed it.
And you were so good.
Thank you so much. And then I got into production. And then the OTT happened. And OTT happened with me. Yeah, so then, and then Lust Stories came in my life. And by the grace of God, I've not looked back. And like you said, that I'm doing short films. I'm doing web shows. I'm doing web series. I'm doing movies. And I'm happy, I'm in a space. I always feel an actor goes through a transition period where he is young and he's dancing around, he's doing that. And then he goes through a period where, when he reaches his 40s, where he cannot play that youngster and he's not old enough to play a character role. So I also went through that. And I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, I look younger than my age. Hu main kafi bada. So I don't know whether that's a plus or a minus thing.
It's always a plus.
Plus thing, yeah. So maybe, so that's the reason maybe now I'm doing 40 plus roles when actually I'm much more.
Don't reveal any secrets.
Yeah. And then you do good work, and then you get a chance of working with fantastic directors, and then what's yours will be yours. You just don't have to give up. You have to keep smiling. You have to keep working even more harder. And that's what I did. And that's the reason I'm here in front of you, in front of this beautiful audience.
Aww.
And with such talented people.
Yeah.
So that's my interesting journey.
Lakshvir, tell me, your character is in the fame game. And I don't want to give too much away. I want you guys to enjoy it. But it's a, he's a young man grappling with a lot of things, right? And he, as an audience, we don't know why he's doing it, right? Until about the 4th episode, right? And in places, he could come off as a joke. But I feel you made him very sympathetic. I want to understand how you found your way into him.
It's very difficult to talk about the character without giving spoilers.
हाँ, कुछ मत बोलना. Netflix will kill me.
No, I'll try my best. I feel, the script that she wrote was so comprehensive in terms of, just following every character's journey. And when there's so many things, there's mental health and there's other things as well. It's very easy to get overwhelmed by it, and that bad habit of marking scenes and saying, "Oh, this is that scene for that purpose." And I try to stay away from it, and I try to really centralize, or try to centralize one thing. I mean, in terms of what is so central about Avi that is connected to everything else, and there has to be silence, and there has to be the frustration of not being able to articulate to anyone about his identity, and I think that became the central thing that led to everything else. So once you catch that, you try to bring that in all the scenes, and I feel that so beautifully written, first of all, and honestly, an actor is as good as the writer and the directors. That's what I've felt in every project that I've done till now. So the moment you catch those pauses, I think you kind of catch who Avi is. So yeah.
I won't say anything or give away anything, but one of my favorite scenes is the one between the two of you when you reprimand him for not asking another character's name. When you guys see the Fame game, pay attention to that scene. Manav. So this man here is a multi-hyphen talent, right? He's a writer, he's a director, he's a producer, he's an actor. And you made a short film called Tathagat. Is that the right pronunciation?
It's not a short film, it's a full length.
It's a full length film. Is that the right pronunciation?
Tathagat.
Tathagat.
It's one of the names of Buddha.
Okay. And this movie explored loneliness, right? Yeah. And as I watched the Fame game, I thought about how lonely your character is. Underneath the stardom, underneath that massive sprawling house he lives in and those flash bulbs, there is a real sort of sadness. Did you tap into your own movie to play this role?
Own life, actually. We all are lonely. We understand loneliness very well. Everyone. I think जो भी बोलता है कि मुझे नहीं पता तो is lying. We understand loneliness. There are certain emotions we understand, each and every person. So I guess Manish Khanna, जो मेरे को attract किया Manish Khanna की तरफ, वो उसकी loneliness. At the same time, he is a superstar. The moment he opens his doors, there are 1,000 people, outside his gate. And जब वो जैसी दरवाजा बंद करता है, वो अंदर आता है, he is extremely lonely. He doesn't know what to do with himself. और वो मुझे इतना ह्यूमन लगा और आई कैन स्टार्ट फ्रॉम देयर. मेरे को लगा वहाँ से शुरू कर सकता हूँ. एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स बिकॉज वो रिलेशनशिप इतनी कॉम्प्लेक्स है, तो रोल इतना कॉम्प्लेक्स है, देयर आर सर्टेन थिंग्स आई कांट टॉक अबाउट, इज सो इंटरेस्टिंग इन मनीष खन्ना. और मुझे लगा ये अपॉर्चुनिटी बहुत कम मिलती है कि यू कैन प्ले दैट इंटेंसिटी, यू कैन प्ले दैट ह्यूमन साइड ऑफ अ स्टार यू हैवंट सीन. तो आई लव्ड इट.
Muskkaan, your character is extremely complicated as well. There are no simple people in this series. Everyone is handling some stuff. But what I was curious about is, like her, you are also second generation film industry. So did you tap into your personal experiences?
No, quite honestly, because the way Sri has written this character, I feel like it is an individualistic view of what a particular character might feel, a particular individual. My experiences were different, her experiences are different. So in that sense, I couldn't quite really relate to much of the stuff that she went through in terms of how she feels about her mother and what she feels in this particular environment. So I mean, the character was very differently written. So there was no drawing as such from that, to be very honest.
I have to ask the two of you. Shah Rukh had once told me that when you start out, when you're new, there is a spontaneity and there's a certain rawness that you can't recreate. It's just because shuruwaat hai, right? So when the two of them were acting, did the three of you veterans ever look at them and say, oh, I used to be able to do that? Was there ever a moment of sort of just, like sometimes I look at my kids when they're like leaping around, and I'm like, I used to be able to do that. Do you ever have that as actors, or do you never lose it completely?
I used to see both of them, and I used to feel they're so good in front of the camera.
They
I
are
used to,
so good, yeah.
And I used to feel that today, this kind of project they've got, and they're doing, like, if there were scenes where probably the scene is between Avi and Anamika's thing, and I'm just over there. I'm observing this son of mine who on screen, when you see them, he's not so fond of being. But when I used to see him perform, I used to be very, very really happy that they're doing such good work.
Yeah.
So that was really, really fantastic. That both of them were so good, and yeah.
And it's wonderful to even hear them talking they're so informed about, acting, and they are kind of they are schooled, and they're learned in a way, which we were not when we started. I didn't know a thing about acting, and when they perform, and when I had some scenes with him or her, it's like, oh my God, I used to be taken aback sometimes at the intensity with which they can work at such a young age. They've just started off, and they're so good, and I'm really proud of both of you.
Yeah, plus they've got this kind of a role also.
Yeah.
They've got a fantastic role in the series, which is great. Yeah.
Are you guys listening to this? What did you two take away from watching these three work?
There's so much, because we were constantly observing them on a daily basis, and on the very first day when we had the table read and everybody was there, they were all so kind to us, quite honestly. And I've said this time and again in every interview that I've learned to be a good human being.
Aww.
No matter where you reach in life, where you are. I've seen that in ma'am, so everybody, that they're just great human beings, and they made us completely at ease when we were at the table read, and we instantly felt that, we're actually going to be a family. That differentiation between ma'am, they are all stars. But, when we just, her first hello in itself was so warm that all of us knew that we would be just characters, and we would play off of each other in scenes and things like that. But there's just so much. But with ma'am, I really believe that she acts with every part of her body, and no, honestly, I really feel that
Even the ankles are acting.
Even the ankles like that, it's still happening, and there is this rhythm in her. And because I would notice it, I know it's really funny, but I remember it so vividly that she just had to make chai in a scene, and she picked up a spoon and she just put, मतलब शक्कर डाल रही थी वो, पर वो शक्कर भी जिस तरीके से उन्होंने डाला, मैंने कहा ये मतलब this is honestly, I mean, कैसे?
एक बार कप उठा के दिखाओ.
No, and just like with her eyes, she says so much. And even with Sanjay sir, he's such a kind human being. I remember one day I was feeling really off on set, and everybody was doing their work, and he noticed it. It was really subtle. I mean, I didn't want to show it to anybody, and he saw that and he said, "Muskkaan, kya hua?" And I said, "Sir, nahi, wo bas kuch thoda, it's all." He said, "Kya hua bhai? AD ko bulao, kuch ho gaya, usko zara pooch lo." And I mean, they've just been helpful.
I'll tell you what had happened. She's never said that. I'll tell you what happened.
Now it's going to be out.
It's going to be out.
Well, I think so. She was not explained the scene properly, and I called the AD and I said, we all are new. Sometimes with new people, you should be a little more careful. You should give them more importance than what you give to stars, because they need it more than us. Yeah. So I corrected him, or I don't remember who it was, but I remember she was upset because both of them want to do so much when they are in front of the camera. So they want every possible input that they can get. And she was, I think so, I remember that one thing, that one day she was because she had not got the input that she wanted to know. So, and she was feeling a little lost there. So I just tried to...
That's wonderful of you.
Yeah.
No, with Manav sir, I just feel like he is just living in every scene. He's just living. No. I mean,
इसीलिए इनका नाम भी मानव है.
Manav hai.
no, genuinely, but with so much ease he performs. I just look at him and it just feels like you're just having a conversation. I didn't have very many scenes with him, but the scenes that we did have, he's just speaking to you. And that, I mean, we are acting, but no, there is no acting. The lines, he has a lot of ease. So I've learned a lot of things from them. I cannot encapsulate it. It's just been such an institution working with everybody. But yeah.
मानव सर बहुत ही कमाल एकदम बढ़िया एक्शन. No, to be honest, I think what I really felt was that it's not always about big acting advices, especially when you're working. It's in the smaller things, It's just that, oh, do that like this. I remember when there was some action sequence, and I've never done an action sequence in my life, and I'm supposed to fall and everything, and she just quickly tells me in the middle of the take, to do it like this, get your thigh in first. I'm like, for a moment, I was like, Madhuri Dixit is giving me advice, and then scene.
Yeah, I didn't want you getting hurt. So we have these little tricks that we do, when we fall and all. And I was observing him that he's actually falling, and
Like
he was
an
hurting
idiot.
himself. So I said, hey, it's all cheating. Don't be so real.
Don't be so real.
Acting karo.
Right. Try acting.
Acting बहुत मुश्किल है. And so yeah, I mean, it is in those things that you really find experience coming through and helping out. So when you see our performances and you feel that it's something that you connected with, please understand that it's a culmination of everything. It's the co-actors, it's the writers, it's the directors, and we are just in some way a vessel of like taking it all together and showing it to you. So it's absolutely, it's absolutely beautiful what I experience on the set.
Yeah. My son is very profound when he talks.
Okay, I'm going to open up to audience questions, but Manav, one last question for you. Tell me, when you are a director yourself, can you compartmentalize and say, no, I'm just an actor here and I will not say, like, perhaps you have a better way of blocking a scene or doing something. Do you ever let the director come out when you're an actor?
मतलब वो compliment करता है, my being a director, me being a writer, rather than वो एक hurdle है. Because and I want.
नहीं, but set पे कभी मन करता है कि यार ये गलत हो रहा है.
मैं कर देता हूँ, मैं कह देता हूँ.
You say.
I say because the thing is I need to contribute.
Yeah.
I am there to. It's not that कि मैं उनको बोल रहा हूँ कि आप ये मत करो, ये मत करो. I'm just saying that can we try this? And we are always trying. And director is there to guide.
Yeah.
So nobody is dictating anyone.
Yeah.
So and we are all working towards the show. ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं अलग काम कर रहा हूँ, आप मेरा इंडिविजुअल. मैं अगर अच्छा हूँ तो शो अच्छा है, बाकी लोग अच्छे हैं तो मैं अच्छा हूँ. So I think मेरे को जो भी आइडिया आते हैं, जो भी लगता है, I just go and do it.
Yeah, he does. Because we were doing this one sequence where we're just walking through the corridor and he invites me for dinner or something. And something was not working out in that scene. Something was not right. And we did 2-3 takes and then he was like, should I not? And then he comes to me and says, if you don't mind, can we try it like that? Can we do that? So I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. He was like, okay. She listened. She heard. So we did it that way and it just fell into place. So sometimes it does help to have like good actors around you, who can kind of make things right.
Yeah.
Because he has such an experience of direction, his direction is also pointed and simple. Like there's a scene in which I have a whole monologue explaining music theory because my character is very interested in music, and I'm very scared of long lines. When there's like a lot of text, I'm like, oh, ye kaise hoga? And I remember again, a couple of takes happened, and then he's like, 3 takes se to zyada mere ko karna nahi, to abhi bata dete hain isko advice. वरना पता नहीं कितने टेक लेगा ये.
I'll be here all night.
So he suddenly comes up to me and he's like, सुनना, बात करते हैं. I was like, okay. And we actually went and I was like, just forget everything and let's just have a conversation. And we did, and he also improvised a little, and I also did. And the scene turned out to be something of some quality, I think.
Oh, lovely. Can I tell you the best Manav Kaul story I know, which I've heard from you, is that he was doing theatre and there was an audience of one. It was a monologue, and you said there was nobody who came to see it, but there was one person.
Wow.
And I still did it with the same dedication and the same commitment. And I was like,
Amazing.
hats off.
By the way, मैं यहाँ पे perform कर चुका हूँ, and मैं इसलिए बहुत comfortable हूँ. Theatre is beautiful.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Folks, I can do this all night. Look at this panel. I can just keep chatting, but we want you guys to ask questions. So, Chandrika Rao, can we begin with you, please?
Hi, ma'am. Hi, everyone. I'm Chandrika from Mangalore. Ma'am, you look gorgeous as always.
Thank you.
Dancing danseurs, actor par excellence, producer, entrepreneur, wife, mother. Your life has surely come a full circle. If there's anything that you could unlearn at this point in time, what would it be and why?
Wow. That's a question for my son, actually. Yeah. He's very profound with all this.
Unlearn?
But,
I haven't learned
you
enough to unlearn.
Yeah, pehle isko seekhne do, then
I
you
still
unlearn.
learn a lot.
I think I'm just so fortunate enough to have learned so much. And that curiosity, that thirst for learning is not going to ever leave me. I'll keep learning something new every time. And so to unlearn something is going to be very hard for me. Because once I've learned it, it's there. It doesn't go.
Suchin?
My question is for Sanjay. So as Anu said, over the last few years, we've seen you in so many different kinds of roles. Across different formats, thrillers like The Gone Game, Last Hour, even like a guilty pleasure like The Fabulous Lives of Bollywood Wives, where you are so much fun to watch. So do you think your work over the last few years has helped filmmakers see you in a different way? And is there a kind of role that you're still, really excited to do that you haven't had the chance to yet?
To answer your first question, yes, I've played in recent times very different kind of roles. I've been fortunate. And whatever I've done, I think so, I got a chance to working with extremely good writers and directors. And that's the reason today, the kind of work I'm getting is a little more interesting than what I was getting earlier. I was doing, the typical 90s roles, which was just singing, dancing. There was not much to perform for me. People are trusting me now. And that's a very, very positive sign that they have trust in me. And that's what OTT has done for me. And what was your second question?
Is there a kind of role that you're still, really excited or looking forward to that you haven't had the chance to yet?
Well, as an actor, I think so. You keep on discovering yourself. Recently, you spoke about Gone Game, and that season 1 I shot. We shot at home where I didn't meet the director for 1 year. That also finally I met him at a restaurant, and it was so interesting that after working for 26 years, here I was at home shooting. I had not met a single actor, not met the director, and there's the iPad in front of you, and the director is saying my wife's lines also and my daughter's line also. And I had to learn my lines, their lines also, because I had to change my look because the director is giving you the cue. So I had to know which is my wife's line and which is my daughter's line. So this line is so interesting that somebody asked you what you want to unlearn. I feel there's so much more to learn. Yeah. There's always, you keep on learning every day. And so I'm open to any kind of, that's the reason when a director meets me and I said, you want me to go gray, you want me to shave, it doesn't matter now. To look good doesn't matter. I just want to be in the character. So I think so that's what has changed. So that's
Okay, next question from Geeta Balsara.
Thank you. Firstly, my compliments to the entire team and best wishes for the Fame Game.
Thank you.
My question for Manav Kaul is, being a writer myself, I was curious to know how your life experiences influence your writing. But you actually answered it when you spoke about Manish Khanna's loneliness. Is there a process you follow when you have to incorporate your personal experiences?
I think in my acting, in my direction, in my writing, or filmmaking, whatever limited I have done, I've directed only 2 films. I'm very instinctive. I think subconscious plays a huge part in everything I do. But the thing is, I'm not doing something that I don't know. mostly. Like if I'm like doing some character which is autobiographical or or biography I'm doing as an actor, then I have to research and I have to make sure that I but right now I'm just doing fictional roles, and I draw everything from my life. I draw everything from my reading I've done, or films I have seen. So, and I'm very instinctive. I believe, I trust the subconscious. I trust the time I am after action and cut in between. It's a very sacred space, and I love that space. And I don't want to corrupt it by overthinking or by. I want to live it. I just go there, live, and come back, and I love that.
That's so lovely. That's so lovely. The idea of it being a sacred space. It is, no? Yeah. Next is Shrimi.
My question is for Muskkaan and Lakshvir. As the next generation in entertainment, what are the changes you want to see and bring about?
I want to be away from safe choices. I want to at least, because I try to push the boundaries a little. And it's not just limited to the on-screen work, but it's also off-screen. I feel that somewhere at this point of time, we are all losing our voices out of fear and out of other things as well. I think it's very important to hold on to them because that's what shapes our craft. And I really hope I'm able to do that. I'll try my best. Yeah, but that's pretty much it because that's central, I feel, for everything else.
I believe we have to break stereotypes. I genuinely feel that going forward to have more inclusivity, whether it's body types, whether it is faces, whether it is just breaking the stereotype of these type of things and doing more challenging stories, more daring stories, more powerful stories, even if they may seem terrifying to people, but to bring such stories forth and have different types of people represented. Basically, inclusivity is what I feel that we need to go towards eventually.
Yep. Agreed. Param Ojha.
My question is for Madhuri ma'am. While at the peak of your career, did you ever came across a script which was, let's say, ahead of its time, or something that was usually considered in those days as parallel cinema? You ended up saying no, but later regretted passing it on.
But in our career, there's so many no's we've done. Like, how many times you said no, first of all, because maybe we didn't have time, or at another point, maybe we had done something similar, so we don't want to do it again. But I've never really gone back and looked at what worked. Did it work because after I said no, I want... It's not that way. It's like, yes, I must have said so many no's and maybe some of them worked, but I don't really dwell on that. I always move forward.
Thank you.
And our last question by a person with a very interesting name, Shakespeare Tripathi. I love it.
Whoa! Finally, I meet you. Hi, Shakespeare.
Name?
First of all, Film Companion, thanks a lot for this opportunity. So, I have just two questions. One's for Mrs. Madhuri Dixit Nene. One film of yours, one character that you love the most.
Oh boy.
Tough one.
Because I have
So
seen
difficult.
all your films. She said IMDb has some 88 credits. You name any film, any song, I've seen it. Television,
Wow.
whatever. But I want to know which is your favorite, one character. I know it's difficult, but please, for your fan.
Oh my, for your fans. Abhi itna meecha bol diya, so we have to say something, right? No, I swear it's really very difficult because I've played such varied roles. I was lucky enough and fortunate enough to get those kind of roles, whether it was like Beta or whether it was Mrityudan, Dil, Raja with Sanjay, and so many films. Bansali's film, Devdas. I mean, there's so many roles I've done, and it's very hard to pick one. But I would say maybe the character that comes closest to the kind of person I am would be Nisha from Hum Aapke Hain Kaun. Yeah, that's the closest. Yeah.
And one more question. Ma'am, I'm also an actor. So one tip you like to give to actors who want to be an artist?
Well, I would say be prepared to work hard. It's very hard work, and be true to yourself. Like, don't try to be someone else. Be yourself, and that is what I would say to everyone who wants to.
Thank you, Film Companion. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
to all of you. This was so much fun, and lots of luck for the Fame game. Everybody, a big applause.
Thank you.